Hi there. Welcome. Thought I'd make a quick video on some of the most commonly asked questions I get in party plan and direct sales when I start talking about expo events. The three most frequently asked questions that we get after we do a training on vendor events is, how do you find the vendor events that are not too expensive? And, you know, it's a big thing of mine. Don't waste your time doing cash and carry. And people always say, what? No cash and carry, but everybody expects to do that. And I have a whole pile of leads that I never followed up on. Some of them are almost a year old. What should I do? How should I take my follow-up? So let's talk about those questions really quick, because I hear it all the time. You know, which vendor events are best? Your guess is as good as mine, I'll tell you that right now. But whatever happens, don't pay a fortune without doing your research, because there are lots of free ones out there. There's lots of discounted ones. And then at the same token, sometimes the expensive ones are well worth the investment. Don't give away free food. I don't believe that you can really qualify your expos when you are giving away free food. How can you possibly figure out who's a good lead when everybody and his son and daughter and brother and uncle are running into your booth looking for free food? So don't give away free food as a way to get them in. It's not an engagement tool. And don't go to events that require you to give away free food, because when you do that, most often the people that at these events are just there for the free food. You know, oftentimes there's beer, wine, liquor, food vendor shows, what do you call them, the beverage events. These tend to be all about getting whatever they're giving away free. So they're not normally, of course there's probably an exception to every rule, but they're not normally the best way to get a good event. How do you figure out which events are best? Well, after your guess is as good as mine, what I recommend is that you go to 2 events every month to keep your business solid. Once as a guest and once as a vendor. And when you go as a guest, a few things happen. You will get leads, and the more you do it, the more you'll start to get good leads, because you'll find people to collaborate with. When you network with the vendors, they're there to talk to you. So you go up to the booths and you network with them. And when the opportunity arises, you say, is this a good vendor event? How are you doing at it? I was thinking about bringing my team here next year. And what's going to happen is that they will literally ask you about your business. You get to network your business, or they will say whether it's a good event or not. But when you go as a guest, you also get to look around. You get to see the traffic flow. You get to see how many people are involved at the event. You get to see how they promoted it. You can talk to the vendors and learn which vendors think it was a good event and which vendors didn't. And if you like what you see, you can get your name on the list for next year. Sometimes a good event does cost $1,200. Some of you may have heard me talk about the trade shows, the Home Builders Show. You know, I never would have brought my team to the Home Builders Show, but when I went as a guest and saw that everything there was designed for home builders, and the wives and partners of the home builders had nothing better to do than stand around at the one and only booth in the whole place that was designed for women, and that was, in this case, was the Mary Kay booth. But from that date on, I realized that tons of traffic. Everybody in the room who's not a home builder has an interest in food, so my booth got set up there every year after that for a 3-day event, invested $1,200, and my whole team filled their calendar nice and solid. So sometimes it is good to pay the big bucks, but the way you figure out if it's going to be a good event for you is to go as a guest and network with the vendors, scope out the scene, get your name on the list for next year. Once you start to do that, you'll start to have a whole bunch of really good events, but you'll also get people calling you, legitimate ones, who are looking for people to man a booth, say at a parent-teachers conference or at a church bazaar, or, you know, even teachers in service days. And then it's up to you to do your homework, ask the right questions, and find out how they're getting their traffic flow. Are they marketing it? But often they're free. And so finding out whether the vendor event is good for you, go as a guest and ask the right questions when you are networking. And then the big one is no cash and carry. You know, I don't know how many people say, well, I have to have cash and carry. In this day and age, people want instant gratification. Everybody wants cash and carry. But here's the deal. Every leader is looking for that one standout distributor, that one consultant who's going to do it all for them, pay their mortgage with their overrides, be their top achiever. And when you're doing cash and carry, you are letting somebody walk by your booth. Would you rather make a little bit of money or a whole lot of money? Because when you let people walk by, you could be missing out on that one lead, that one person that you're looking for. So if you're one of those people that say, we absolutely have to do cash and carry, well, then you need to have more than one person in your booth. Or if you're going to a vendor event that requires you to give away food, because as I said, there are exceptions. I used to do the chocolate fest. Everybody had to give away chocolate. And trust me, it was a good event. So we had somebody working the chocolate station and then 2 people working the leads as they walk by. So if you must do cash and carry, then you would have one person working the selling station and 1 or 2 people working the leads as they walk by, depending on the volume of business. Everybody keeps their own sales, everybody keeps their own leads, and you rotate. Because when you let people walk by your booth, would you rather make a commission, you know, a $15, $20, $30 commission off of one sale that took you 15 or 20 minutes to make? Or would you rather find a lead who's going to be your top performer and bring in a massive downline and really keep your business solid for the next 10 years? Think about it. Cash and carry. Make a plan if you must do it. The next question that we get all the time is, after 48 hours, a lead is cold. After a year, well, you might as well be looking people up in the phone book. That's how cold they are. So how do you follow up after a long time? You need to think about the value of your time. If it's been 2 or 3 days or a week, see, the whole deal is within 48 hours, chances are they'll still remember you. Hey, Lisa, this is Deb with my fantastic company. I hope you enjoyed the women's show. It was great talking to you. I wanted to touch base on blah, 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 blah. Well, a week later, they're not going to remember you with a quick intro and a quick reminder. But you can still script out a message and hopefully make some benefit out of it. My experience is that coming home from a vendor event and calling 10 people, 10 of my green leads right away, you know, 8 out of 10 book, because you have qualified them out. You've made a legitimate business reason for calling them, and they're waiting for your call. But if I wait a week, like I went on vacation one time, and a week later, I came back and called the rest of them, and I can tell you that it was more like 8 out of 10 didn't even answer their phone anymore, didn't even, you know who I was or even give me the time of day. So really the 48-hour window is crucial. And if it's been a year, honestly, I would think about your time. Would you waste a few hours out of your day looking up people in the phone book and making phone calls? If not, well, then these are definitely cold leads. After a week, they're definitely dead cold leads. So how desperate are you, and what's your time commitment? How do you want to do it? If you do that, script out make a plan on what you're going to say, and write out kind of an idea so that you're ready and prepared, because you don't want to bring up, oh, I'm sorry I didn't call you for a year. You don't even want to reference the fact that you're really tardy on making a call. You just might want to say, hey, this is Lisa. It was a pleasure meeting you. That isn't even really very good. Hey, Lisa, this is Deb Bixler with my fantastic company. I was just touching base. You had expressed an interest in the past in our XYZ, and I was just following up since we never really connected. Just kind of make something short that doesn't reference the time discrepancy, reminds them a little bit that they had an interest in your product, and see how you go. But honestly, 48 hours is your window of opportunity. I strongly recommend that you address all your leads, all your green leads within 48 hours. All these questions and more, every time we do this training, people come back with the same questions, and they're all addressed in the special offer. the step-by-step guide to trade shows is on your special offer page. And I recommend that if you are serious about trade shows, vendor events, that you go ahead and take advantage of that. So it's a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you very much for being part of the event. And don't forget that it's up to you. It's your attitude. Trade shows really will make your business solid. I recommend 2 trade shows a month, no matter what. Go as a guest and go as a vendor. And I promise you, you will never hurt for business. It becomes an awesome training tool as well. So take advantage of the special offer and make sure your vendor events and your time committed pays off. Deb Bixler here, Deb@debbixler.com. Feel free to email me if you have any further questions.